Okay guys, here we go. We're going to talk about burnishing and blending and solvents and layering when we get to the skin tones. Right now I have these burnishing tools, Prismacolor, colorless blender. I have a Caran d'Ache full blender. I have the good old trusty blending stump. And then I have the Derwent blender. And then this plain old white colored pencil. And I'm working with Prismacolor, Artesia, and Polychromos or Faber-Castell. And for the whites, I have theirs also. I have the Artesia and the Faber-Castell as well. This first one across is the colorless blender pencil Prisma, which is this one right here. Okay, it's just got a plain white, oops, let me tip on it, and I'm gonna go through and we're just gonna, I've already done the coloring because nobody wants to spend the time to sit and watch me color all of these bubbles. But what I'm gonna do is just go over the whole thing. Now, Prisma is a waxier pencil. It's been my favorite pencil for many, many years. Many, many years. And this is a Prisma colorless blender. Now, I know it works on others, even though it is a Prisma brand. But what that did was just pull all the colors together. Now, is it wowie? I mean, it does a bit of a good job. Definitely smooths it out and softens the lines, but it's not perfection. It is what it is. Okay, so now we're going to do the colorless blender Prisma on Artesia. Now I have to say that, oh, see, this is working really well actually. On the Artesia, I have never used Artesia pencils, and I got some, or the Faber-Castells. I played with a little bit of Faber, but not as many as I have here. I've never used Artesia, and I got them to do this demo for you guys. I got a small set, and I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised. A couple of things about these pencils, I'll finish this first. Actually, I'll just do it now. Is that they're a triangular shape. They're a triangular shape. I don't know if you could tell. Which when you put them down, once they're down, they don't roll, which I love. I love that. It's a simple little thing, but I absolutely love it. Love that they don't roll. Okay, now I'm going to go to the Polychromo with the Prismacolor colorless blender. Now the Polychromos are not wax based; they're oil based. So their blending is a bit different. It is blending, it is working actually. I think the best one was on the Artesia, or Artesia, I'm not sure how to say it. I think it's Artesia. It works, it is definitely working. You can see that when I do it. But I think the best was on this. Now, mind you, I didn't lay down gobs and gobs and gobs of color. I didn't make it super dark because I wanted to be able to see the gradation. I wanted to see the dark, medium, light. Each one of these circles that you guys see, I use 3 colors, a light, a medium, and a dark, to create this. And I'll show you that when we get further in. When I do skin tones, I'll show you how I color and work them. But those don't actually, those are pretty decent. I don't mind those at all. Okay, the next one for these 3, not this. This is actually the solvent row, which we're going to use. We're going to use the Mona Lisa odorless paint thinner. We're going to use, oops, a little close, odorless paint thinner for that, but not yet. This one is the Caran d'Ache. This is this. I got mine from Amazon. I got 2 in a package. They came out of the package and they were broken. This is the biggest piece, sadly. But I just stuck it in the pencil sharpener. It comes flat like this. I stuck it in the pencil sharpener and sharpened it up. I have not used this before, so this is new for me too. I'm going to come in. I know you do it the same way. These are all Prisma. This is all Artesia, and then my whole row here, and this is all Polychromos. So this is on a wax based. It is blending. Is it the smoothest blend? I'm not sure. It is, like, the blending that's happening is that it's just kind of blurring the lines, blurring the strokes, making it more of a solid, more solid pigment. So, I'm not sure. Ouch, that is sharp. Oh, be careful. Ow, ow, ow. Now this was Artesia. I'm in love with this color combo here, the 3 colors here. This is Artesia, and this is for anybody who owns Artesias. This was Moss, Matcha, and Coyote. Those 3 colors. Moss, Matcha, and Coyote. These 3. Right here. Moss, Matcha, and Coyote. So that's what got this, and I absolutely love this color combo. Okay, I'm still using the Caran d'Ache. Caran d'Ache. I don't know how to say it. So I'm just going to have fun with it. This is also blending. It will work in a pinch. I'm not necessarily sure it's the way to go. Now Artesia, I'm not sure if they are wax-based, or I should have found that out. And I'm truly sorry. I will find out and put it a little note in the comment or in the post itself. They felt a bit wax-based when I was using them. You know, for someone who has loved Prisma as much as I have, and I still absolutely adore it, and I know it best. But the color palette for the Artesia is just outstanding. And they're really rich colors. And now this is the Polychromos. Now this is an oil-based. So for those of you, I don't know if most of you or a handful of you have worked with both the Prisma and the Polychromo. Prisma is much more buttery and creamy in texture. So when you lay down the colors, they blend seamlessly. Where the Polychromos, it's a lot of light layers, takes longer, and it's a lot of light layers and building up. Lots and lots of building up. Okay, so, I mean, it's okay. It's not wowie, but it works. Okay, now I'm going to use a blending stump. Just a plain old blending stump, and I'm going to scooch up to the next row. Again, this is Prisma, this is Artesia, and then this is Polychromo. Okay. I personally don't really use a blending stump for my colored pencils. I don't know if it's because I'm not in practice of it. I just don't think about it. But I also like the way they look without the blending, because I work with them so well that I know how to make them look, I don't know, definitely not like super slick and soft like these 3 things have become. It's okay. It's alright. I'm going to go to the Artesia. I wouldn't say much has changed. It's okay. It's not wowing me. Wowie. I'm going to flip and use the other side. And then this is the Polychromo. It's definitely giving a burnish and a sheen to it. Even the Polychromos. The Artesia definitely has a sheen to it when I use the blending stump. But the Prisma, surprisingly enough, does not. These 2 have more of a sheen when you use the blending stump. That actually blew me away. That surprises me. And I would say out of the 3, this one blended the best, the Polychromo with the blending stump, for sure. For sure. Okay, the next one is going to be the Derwent blender. Let me move those out of the way. This one right here, this row right here. Okay. This is a Prismacolor pencil. It's definitely changing, and you can see it's flattening the color. Not in a bad way. When I say flattening, I mean it's smoothing and taking away the strokes. That actually looks really good. The Derwent blender on the Prisma. It kind of lifts a little, and it's a little powder. Like there's a little powder that's created because it's lifting some of the pencil as it burnishes, or yeah, as it burnishes. That's what we're doing right now with all these different things we're burnishing. Yeah, there was a little bit of powder residue after that from the pencil. Okay, so this one is the Artesia. Let's see what happens with that. Oh yeah. Wow, so far, I'm going to say the Derwent's kicking booty when it comes to this colorless blender stuff. This would make skin tones really amazing. And we're going to do some practice on the side. You can't see it, but I have a whole section of skin tones that we're going to do for all three makes of the pencils, the Artesia, the Prisma, and the Polychromo. Now that looks good. Artesia. Artesia for the win so far. And let's see what the Polychromos look like with the Derwent. Let's see. I wonder how this works on graphite. I would think amazing. I don't know though. I'm so addicted to my blending stumps. I know them like I can do all of it in my sleep at this point. Those look pretty decent. I think this again is still a much smoother I guess effect out of the three. This one's second, this one's third. I can still see some of the textural from the paper. Now I am also working on 140 pound hot press Fabriano paper because I will be using solvents, which is a liquid over here, and I do work on this paper a lot when I'm doing my graphite work or colored pencil work, so it's not abnormal for me to do that, but I knew that I was going to have a wet medium and I wanted a paper that could handle it. Okay, so far I think the Derwent might be the winner. But now we're going to go to the white pencil, white colored pencil. This is very common. This is what I normally use. I just recently discovered these colorless pencils, by the way. I don't know if you guys have known about them, but I just recently discovered them and I was super stoked. But this was usually my go-to. This, the white colored pencil, or the lightest of whatever of the family that I was using, the lightest color of the three, the light, medium, and dark, I would use as the blender. But the white pencil definitely goes in. It does mute the color just a tiny bit, not a ton, but it does mute it. You can see. And a lot of the time I'll use the white pencil to fix things. Like if it's a too dark of a color, I'll go in with the white to help repair it. But now, no, I really like this. I think that looks good. I think that looks really good. It totally changed. Notice, I'm going to zoom in on the second on this. This is Artesia. This one right here. You can see the strokes fairly decent. Let's see what happens when I add, oh, nope, not that one. I'm going to add Artesia's. I'm going to do half and half because I want to see if the Prisma works on this also. So I'm going to divide this. Not so great. It's definitely, it's got a little wax, but I would say it's harder. It's a harder lead for sure. Yeah, I don't see much of a difference between the two. Not super excited about that. All it did was really kind of make these brighter purple bits stand out more instead of smoothing them in. Okay, now I'm going to use the Prisma colored pencil. The white one. And I think it looks much better. So it does work on the Artesia. I'm going to do the same for this one. So this is the Fabriano. I'm going to do half. Can we see it? Oh, no, we can't see it. Let's move you over. Alright, well, you're going to behave like that, are you? Okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to do half. Yeah, this doesn't do anything. Nope. Big goose egg. Doesn't do anything. Let's see if the Prisma works on this. It does a little bit more, but truly what it's doing is just, looks like it's just making it whiter. It's not really blending it as much. Okay, so those are those. Let me pull this back down. This was Prismacolor, and we used the colorless blender, Artesia colorless blender, Polychromos colorless blender, which is the Prismacolor one, the Prismacolor colorless blender. And then the next one we used was the Caran d'Ache. This one, it's hard. It's kind of, it feels like ceramic a little bit. I'm not sure what it's made out of. It's called a faux blender Caran d'Ache. And you could stick it in a pencil sharpener, and that was this row. And then we used the blending stump. I wasn't super wowed by that. We used the Derwent blender, which I was really impressed with right here. These three guys, totally love those. And then the white pencil, I think it did really good on all three, but looks really good on the Prisma and on the other half. The Artesia white did not do a great job at blending, and nor did the Polychromos white do a good job at blending. Not super impressed with that. Not super impressed with that. Okay, now we're gonna do these bad boys right here. And this is Solvent, and this is what I was showing you earlier. This is the Mona Lisa odorless paint thinner, and I have a paintbrush, just any old paintbrush. I'm gonna zoom in or out because I cannot seem to figure it out. And I'm going to, let me get a little closer. I'm going to do this one first. This is a Prismacolor. I just have it in a little jar here, little jar. I'm going to take just a tiny bit. It's a little oily, or it appears to be a little oily. You don't need a ton. Just load your brush and then tap it onto the towel. And then you're going to just paint it on your paper. Remember, I'm using a 140-pound hot press. It's definitely blending. It's a definite different look. It's not a bad look. It's definitely, it's more solid. A creamier look, I guess is the best way to explain it. A creamier look. Get a little bit more. It is absorbing into my paper fairly quickly, which makes sense because it's watercolor paper. Okay, so that's that one. I think it did a pretty good job. I would have to say so. Okay, so now we're going to go to Artesia, the Artesia, and do the same thing. I'm using the Mona Lisa solvent. You can definitely see it in this. Like it? I do like the way this looks. It's for a certain look. Like I was saying, this would work really well on skin tones. Now I'll let it dry a little bit, and I'll see if I can go back over it with some colored pencil. I honestly don't know if I can. I don't use solvents at all, so this is new for me as well. I also saw a tutorial today where someone was using baby oil, and it's funny because I thought, why can't I just use baby oil? Because I remember when I used to color tint photos with colored pencils, we would use baby oil to set it until or to smooth it and help it move around. So I thought, but then I thought, well, that's a different kind of paper. You know, it's a photo paper, so it might not be the same. I'm not sure, so I didn't use it. But then I saw a thing that somebody did, so I would say try it. Anything you try, guys, test first. Just like when you color your hair and you test a small patch first to make sure you're not allergic to it, or your hair isn't going to fall out, or, you know. Test your stuff. Just grab something real quick, scrap piece of paper, whatever it is you're working on, throw some color down, use at least 2 shades, if not 3, and just test it on any one of these things that I just showed you. I think that works for all 3. I think it worked for the Prisma, the Artesia, and the Poly. I think that's pretty cool. Also, I forgot to mention that one of the tools that we have is a pencil extender. And it's just, this is a well-loved, oh, get how tiny it is. A little itty bitty pencil, but I use it all the time for skin tones. Now we're gonna come in and work on skin tones. We're gonna do skin tones. I'm gonna show you guys how I color my skin tones. Okay, so the first skin tone I'm gonna work with is Prisma, and it is salmon pink, peach, and then this is burnt sienna. Okay, I have the three colors, light, medium, dark, and you can see that I work with two of them very much a lot because I have two pencil extenders. So what I do is I take the first layer and I go in very light layer. The first, I fill the whole thing in. So let's pretend this is the girl's face. And I go in and I cover the whole thing with a light layer. An even pressure, it's a light pressure, but an even pressure all the way across. Because if I have because you will have some overlapping, and where the edges overlap, if it's not the same pressure, you will start to get that line, like a ridge of color, which we don't want. So you may or may not be able to see this. It's very light. This is the longer process. Now notice, because it's so light, I'm not really concerned with which way my strokes are going because you can't really see it. But when you work in any kind of colored pencil, you want to, and I'm going to go with my medium, if it's a round surface, you want your strokes to follow that surface. Now I'm applying a second layer. I'm applying a little bit more pressure to the second layer because I want it to start, you can see it's starting to build up. This is about the layers, just like I talked about with my watercolor videos. It's all about the layers. So you have to have some patience here. I'm going to build up. It's not super dark. It is darker than the first layer, that's for sure. But I don't want to go in heavy-handed because I can't take it away. Once I lay it down, it's really hard to fix. Now, those blender tools and the white colored pencil, those might help a bit, but you have to be really familiar with colored pencils first before you do it. Before you just go like, oh, I can fix that with a blender or a white pencil. So you got to do this step first. You got to pretend, or not pretend, you got to practice, pretend. You got to practice these steps so you get comfortable with how much pressure needs to be applied. I'm going with my third color now. Not a ton more pressure because this color is already darker than the other two. Following the curve. Now some artists, you can see for the most part I just do back, up and down strokes. I don't but I don't go like this and then like this and then like this and then like this because I do not want to see my strokes going in a bunch of different directions. So I do try to keep them uniform. Now I'm going to make this color go a little bit darker. I'm going to go towards the edge where the shadow would be. And I'm adding another layer. I'm pressing a little bit harder because I do want it darker. Now I want to show you, I'm going to create an edge on purpose. And I'm going to try to make it go away. You see how I have this, like this edge starting here, this line? I'm going to try to make that go away. And by doing how I'm going to do that is, I'm going to take this medium tone and I'm going to come back, and instead of doing my normal strokes like this, the straight up and down, I'm going to come in and do some like little swirls. This is how I'm doing it. Little swirls. Very light. Little swirls. which will then, and it's starting to disappear now. Little baby swirls. Same pressure. You know, I've been doing it for so long, I haven't really paid much attention to how hard I push because I'm just used to doing it. My pressure is pretty even all the way across between the light, the medium, and the dark. If I wanted to go darker, dark is probably the one that I'll see, and that line's gone now. I can even it out a bit by coming back with the lighter one. And there's my skin tone. And that's Prisma. That's Prisma. I'm going to come in with a little bit darker. Do I have a darker Prisma? Let's see. This one is terracotta. Let's use terracotta to be darker. So this is my fourth color I'm introducing. And I'm back to the up and down strokes. It's all about the patience, guys, because this is a lot of layers. It requires a lot of layers. It takes layers to get that really smooth finished look. See, I'm starting to get that ledge again. So I'm going to come in with my, I think I'm going to come in with my second color, the mid-tone. And just do those little swirls like I talked about. And there we go. So now I have a good gradation. I have the light color, and then I'm going to go back in with the light color to make that, clean that up a little. I love these pencils. They're so buttery and fabulous. Not gonna lie though, I cannot wait to play with, you notice, hang on before I say that, I went in with the lightest color and I'm covering the whole thing. Remember I said at the beginning, like if I want to use the white pencil, I'll use that to blend everything together, or I'll go in with the lightest color to blend everything together. So that's that. Now, let's grab, I'm going to do Derwent because I really like how that works. I'm going to do half of it in Derwent, blending. I'm going to leave the other half alone. Now this makes for a really smooth skin texture. I do not mind this side at all, this look. Let me get a little closer. I do not mind this being able to see the strokes a little bit. I don't want to see heavy strokes, but there is a texture, but that's also because of the paper. If you're using like a Bristol or a, which my favorite is 110-pound Spring Hill digital cardstock. That's my favorite that I use. But I also don't mind this little bit of texture. If you are working on watercolor paper, knowing that you're going to have, you know, do a watercolor piece and then add some colored pencil on top, then I would, you're going to get this. But then you can also come in, if you want a really smooth skin tone, you can come in with the Derwent blender, and voila, you have a skin tone. You still have all those layers of color, the 4 colors that I laid down, but it's much smoother and nicer. Okay, next one is going to be Artesia. Let me get the Artesia. I went too far. Now this one I'm excited about because I'm very shocked that I actually like these. So let's see what happens. I'm using 4 colors. I'm going to use Peaches and Cream, Apricot. This one is Burnt Ochre and Burnt Sienna Brown. Okay, so Peaches and Cream first for this guy. These also come sharpened a little differently because they're rectangular or triangular. So you got to kind of play with it. Now, for when I do the skin, you guys, because takes a while, I'm going to start you off and then I'll speed up a little bit, hopefully, and then come back in between each one, because that's a lot to watch. And it's easy to make a 5-hour video, but who's going to watch a 5-hour video? So, okay, so there's my lightest color. Now I'm going to come in with my apricot. And I'm going to start, same pressure, but because it's a darker color, it already is creating that new tone. Now this is definitely a harder lead. Like I've said before, there might be a little bit of wax in it, but it's a harder lead for sure. But the colors are beautiful. They have a lot of pigment in them. Okay, now this one is burnt ochre. Creating that next layer. I'm working basically just a straight up and down stroke. Occasionally I might have a little bit of a spin in, like a little twirl or like a circle, some little baby circle when I color. But it really happens on this edge that I've got going here. I'm not crazy about it because you can also see the strokes. So I'm going to come in, same pressure, but swirl my pencil a little. And hopefully it'll soften that edge a bit. Which it seems to have done. And I'm going to come back with my apricot. And do the same thing, do a little swirls, a few little swirls there. There we go. And then my final color is going to be sienna brown. Bottom line, when you guys do skin tones, you need to work in at least 3 tones. By the time all said and done, I have added, you know, chartreuse green and what's my other favorite color? Where is it? A blue. It's a blue color. No, that's not it. Hang on. Blue porcelain. I add blue ultramarine. That's the one. Ultramarine is the other color I add. I also add violet in there. I had purples, I had greens, I had blues, plus these colors as well. Okay. These are beautiful. I'm a fan of the Artesia colored pencils. I am. I think they're gorgeous. Now I'm going to come in with my lightest color, which is peaches and cream, and just kind of do an overall, kind of like an overall blending / cleanup. And I once again am going to, drum roll please, I'm going to use my Derwent blender because I think it's really, really cool. Actually, I'm going to use my Prisma one. Actually, I lied. I'm going to use the odorless, the Mona Lisa odorless solvent and see what happens. I'm not sure I'm digging that, the way that looks. I'll have to see what it looks like when it dries. I'm not sure what is, maybe it just was really light there. Too much on my brush? I don't think so. Not any more than there was before. Okay, so that's the solvent on the skin tone. So far, I like this better. The blender, the Derwent blender. Okay, so my last one is the Polychromos, and I'm going to use 3 colors. I'm going to use, oh, it doesn't have the color. It's 330 is the number. 387 and 378. Oh, is that? Gonna do a coat. One full coat. Now with the Polychromo, I have to say, I feel like I have to press harder to get any pigment at all. This is the one that requires a lot of layers for buildup. Because I'm definitely pressing harder than I did on the first two. Interesting. Interesting. I feel like there's really no forgiveness with these pencils. The lead's hard. I don't know, I think I have a lot of patience in my artwork anyways because I love to do detail and stuff, so I spend the time, but I guess when I get to this part, the colored pencil part, I don't want to put in 14 hours of layers. And the pigments aren't that dark right off the bat. Yeah, I'm not digging these pencils at all. That's okay. Some people, a lot of people actually, not some, a lot of people love these. I think though in the future if I'm coloring I'm going to either use I'll definitely use Prisma, but I'll also use Artesia now. I like the Artesia a lot. And I will include, I just got the 48 pack. Where is it? I got the 48 pack. So it's got a lot of color choices. It's fairly decent. So if you guys want to start it out, just to check them out. Yeah, I don't like this at all. I could see my pencil strokes really well, no matter my pressure. Yeah. Not digging it. And then brown sienna, the last color. Yeah, I will definitely use a blender on this because of all these pencil strokes that I can't seem to get rid of. Yeah, I don't like this at all. Okay, so let's use the, also makes my hand cramp a little. I'm going to use the Derwent blender. Which definitely made it better, more smooth, but still not amazing. Now, everything I talk about, guys, and I share with you and stuff, this is just one person's perspective. If you are a diehard Polychromo Faber-Castell, by all means, go for it. I love it. I love falling in love with a piece of medium and, owning it and having it and enjoying it forever and ever. So if you love these babies, go for them. I'm not a fan. I do, however, like the Artesia and the Prisma. Okay, so those are skin tones. Those are some skin tones. I'm going to zoom out. Those are my skin tones. Again, Prismacolor row, Artesia, and then Polychromos. I use the colorless blender Prisma pencil here. I use the full blender Caran d'Ache here. I use the blending stump for these guys. So-so. Derwent blender, 2 thumbs up. I love this one. And then the white Prisma, Artesia white and the Polychromo white. The white Prisma is the best, and it worked also on both the Artesia and the Polychromo. Their white colors, the Artesia and the Polychromo, did not work at all. Solvents. These, they're cool. I'm not like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. I mean, they smooth them out a little bit. I still think, they're okay. They're all right. I still think the Derwent blender is probably the best bet. Be careful though, guys, when you get the blenders or the odorless, the monolith or any kind of solvent, make sure that it's odorless. They have a citrus one. I think it's, I can't remember what it's called. I don't remember what it's called, but there's a citrus scented one. So if you don't mind that, that's fine. But do not get one that's scented. Otherwise, you're going to have to work in a ventilated area, which is fine. But this odorless one, there was absolutely no scent at all. And I use so little that it's totally fine. Skin tones, not a fan. These two are awesome. This blender, I use the odorless paint thinner here. It's no big deal. I kind of like this better. I like the Derwent look better. So these are all my opinion. This is how I would do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope I gave you a lot of stuff to play with, to dabble with. It's so much fun for me I'm learning so much, you guys. I know a lot already, but I really want to give you guys a thorough schooling education on what there is out there. Now, there's more, but this is what I selected. So we will be adding a project. This is going to be a short week this week. Next week we will do a project with what we have learned here, and we'll play with a few of the blending things and the solvents and whatnot. But this is the first week out. I hope you guys have fun. Please, please, please post your charts in Next Generation Art so that we can see what you guys played with, and then tell me which ones you love the best. Make sure I know of arrows or stars or whatever, the ones that you guys love the best and why. That is so exciting for me, because you might have discovered something that I didn't during the process of doing what I do, or you might discover a whole new type of blending tool out there. I mean, how cool is that? So I'm open for any kind of feedback. Thank you so much. Enjoy, go play, have fun. I hope this sparks more interest and keeps you motivated and inspired to keep learning and growing and being fabulous. Okay guys, I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.